Hello folks and welcome. So today's video is going to be on Rsync, remote sync. A couple of weeks ago I did one on Rsync for the same distribution. You may want to go check that video out if you're wanting to use Rsync, the graphical version of Rsync. Usually Rsync is one folder to one destination at a time. Today I'm going to be talking about multiple destinations. In other words, on internal hard drive, external hard drive, and a USB stick to copy several folders and files. So welcome folks. You can see what I'm filming in today. I have that highlighted. Today's user is Tom. It's just a made-up name. Alt F4 to close. So I'm going to open up my file manager for a second, or Dolphin, and talk about the user Tom. Okay, so I'll resize the folder slightly, and I'll show you why I need this roughly this size, but I'll try to also enlarge things as I move forward. But more importantly, I have a bunch of documents that I'm going to be using for backup purposes. I have pictures in here. I've got a My Junk folder, document folder, and some music stuff. And I'm going to delete one. So basically, and these all contain actually music in here, so they're not just folders. Anyways, so these are live documents. So on my desktop, I have a little link to one of these script files that I'm about to talk about. So I started with one script, made a copy of it, altered it, changed the name, and then duplicated that to a second one. So really I just started with one. So I'm going to talk about this particular script from scratch, and I'll show you actually how to write one of these, and you can write as many lines as you want. Okay, I'll talk about what it's going to do here in a second. So the first thing I need to do, unfortunately, is populate this screen with a bunch of boxes. So Control N, Control N, and Control N. I need to demo this for you so you can see what it's doing in the background. So my first device is an internal backup drive with a folder on it. I'm going to reduce that slightly. And then the second device is a USB 1, which is a hard drive. And this last device is USB 2 as a stick. 14 gig, no files. This one I'm going to leave. So as this script works, it's going to create folders here, here, and here. So let me run that or execute it. So it's going to start creating folders, and I'm going to let this thing finish. But I'm going to open this up and explain what it's doing here by using the top screen only. So right now it's making folder backups to this device here. And again, depending on how much data I have in those folders is however long it's going to take. But it's fairly quick. So four folders is going to create on backup. And I think it's done actually. And then it's going to create another 4 on USB 1. And I'll have to resize that downstairs. And then the last device is USB 2. It's going to create, looks to be 3 folders there. Okay, which is also done. It's just finishing up. And if your devices have blinking lights, allow it to finish the job. Okay. The beauty of using remote sync or Rsync is when it's finished backing up your files and you rerun these kind of scripts, they won't have anything to do unless you altered your files. That's the beauty of using Rsync instead of dragging and dropping folders and files. And it does do subfolders and files. You'll see that like this here on USB 1 or backup, it doesn't matter which one I use. I'll even go into these subfolders. You can still see music in here. Okay, so far so good. More coffee. So anyways, this one has several folders. This one has a couple, and this one is probably less. Okay, so you can have one line or more, and I'll talk about creating these things completely from scratch. Okay, I'll blow that up. And I'll do the same here. Click in here once. Okay, so if you want, I'll resize that. So I'm going to talk about all these things, the bin bash statement and all the Rsync lines. Okay, so but more importantly, when I rerun the script, it won't have anything to do because it's already finished. That's the beauty of using remote sync, is it doesn't have to recreate the wheel every time. But it does go and verify that your files are the same on your source to destination. Let me give you that example. So I'm going to open up music on backup, USB 1, and USB 2. So you agree there's the same boxes on all these. So I'm going to go to the original, the source, and create another folder. So let's say the user creates another music folder. I'm just going to call mine Hello World. So the user puts a new music folder. Just humor me. Now that's been altered. So I got an additional folder, and I'm going to go to my script. And before I run it, I want to let you see some of the information first. And I will. So what this script is going to do when I rerun it, it's going to verify that it's going to do all the folders on documents, all the folders on pictures, and all the folders on music, and see if they're in sync. And also my junk, whatever. In this case, only 2. But it's going to perform all of this at the same time. And the only change you're going to see is a Hello World folder on all these. But it'll be rather quick. Because the script will have nothing to do except to create one folder. But it verifies everything I just discussed. Double click and execute. Hello World, Hello World, Hello World. The reason it was so quick, because it didn't have to recreate these. Because they were already there, and I made no changes to that. However, if I added a piece of music in here to say here manually, then it'll have something to do. The script will have something to do. Again, the reason I don't drag and drop files into the backup device or do a copy and paste is because the backup device will complain about duplicates. Oh, sure, you can delete and replace the hard way. But why not do this a little bit smarter using Rsync or remote sync? So far, so good? Okay, another example of this is if I've altered a document. So let me go to USB 1 documents and USB 2 documents, since I have a duplicate of all of these. So all of these are currently the exact same as the original. Okay. So I'm going to take that first thing, and it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, I know it just says fat burning soup on it. So I'm going to hit enter a couple of lines, and then I'm going to put the word test in it. So the file is now altered as soon as I hit save. The beauty of using Rsync, Rsync uses your file attributes on your files and folders, or your directories as Linux calls it. It understands that by the properties of the file and folder that it's been altered. Rsync will, as soon as I run the script, will check this for every one of those things I have in this script. And it's doing a lot of work, yes. But it's going to find that it's only one file has been altered. So it won't have to recreate the wheel by replicating all these. It'll only do one file. So I edit the word test test. It is not reflective currently here on my USB 2. Starts with a basic fat burning something. So is this one. And so is this one. As soon as I rerun this script though, you're not going to see much happening here. You'll see the screen maybe blink. Maybe. But it's actually finished. Let me verify that for you. Test, test. Test, test. And test, test. 3 devices. USB slow, USB fast, and internal hard drive. It didn't have to recreate the rest of the files. But it verified them. It verified that there was no changes. That's the beauty of Rsync. All right, if you wanted to look up Rsync information, and I'm going to open up console for a second, just like I did with NeoFetch information, except I'm going to use man bash. I'll make this bigger for you. So man stands for manual pages. Bash is born again shell. Now you know how it's spelled, if you did not know. Q to quit, Alt F4 to close. It closes any window. All right, so that's born again shell, because I'm going to write a script from scratch. Okay, so I'll just use the top device, and let's just use that folder there. So open up your main menu and type the word text. You should have a text editor installed. Mine is called KWrite. You can install other text editors if you like. I just don't recommend using LibreOffice Writer or something similar. You want to use a text editor when you write these things. All right, so I'm going to start with the bin bash statement. So that would be shift pound, which is the number 3 key, and the number 1. So it's a pound exclamation point. And then / is found near your enter key. Bin / bash. You want this larger? There you have it. Hopefully that's large enough for you. So pound, again, is found on your upper row of your standard keyboard by hitting the shift key, and number 3 produces a pound. And then shift number 1 produces an exclamation point. No space / bin, no space / bash. Born again shop. Born again shop. That's what bash stands for. Enter. Now you're ready for Rsync lines. Rsync is remote sync. Rsync is used in a lot of places. Rsync also has many, many options. I'm only going to use the -A, the archive option today. Now I need a source. So let me just give you a demo on something that I normally don't punch in. So I'm going to be copying Tom's folder, my junk, using a script line. Instead of typing all that stuff, I'm going to use a tilde. I had a child look at this one time. They were looking over my shoulder and they go, oh, it looks like a worm. All right, so I'm going to use that analogy. So the tilde is found to the left of your number 1 key on your upper row on your keyboard. It looks like a worm. Tilde. I need a / now. And the name of that folder is my junk in lowercase letters. All one contiguous word, no spaces. So that is my source. Now I need a destination. In this case, it's backup. Except I'm going to delete that my junk folder because I'm going to give the script something to do. So now it'll have to recreate it. Now that I have my internal backup device called Media Tom Backup, I don't want to type all that stuff. I'm going to take my computer mouse and highlight that line, right click and copy that, Control C. And then click in here and paste that. So can I resize that slightly for you? There we go. I'm going to eliminate that last / and I want you to notice the device is spelled with uppercase letters just like the system called it. If you hand type in stuff, also verify what your system calls your devices. All right, so mine is in uppercase. That's why I used a copy and paste. I don't have to retype anything. But I do need a separator between my source and destination because it's currently butted right up against there. So I had a user ask me this, why do I only recommend 1 space? Because in some distributions, a lot of distributions, you can put 2 spaces. I'll tell you why. A long time ago, I ran into one distribution, a long time ago, that if I put in 2 spaces, it gave me some problems. So now I normally just recommend 1 space. But however, in this case, we'll do 2 and leave it at that. So now I have my tilde, my junk. In other words, it represents the same as the home folder Tom, the worm, in other words, / my junk. 1 or 2 spaces / media Tom backup. That's my destination. I am now ready for saving or save as. Use whichever one you want. Documents, scripts. Does it have to be saved in the script folder? No, it does not. You can call it X if you like. But I need to call it something different than test 1 and 2. So I'm going to call this one test 3, just for a different name. And save. We're still not done yet though. So now I'm going to close this and go find that script. Test 3. I'm going to double click on it, and what you'll see is it'll open it up in a text editor. Again, I don't recommend word processors when you do this. Different colors now, but more importantly, it's still not ready to be ran. Because when I ran this one, it gave me the option of execute or open, right? And I normally don't check that. I allow that to give me the prompt box. This one didn't do that though. And the reason for that is the attribute on the file is not to be set, it's not set as run as a program. So as soon as you write a script, and I'm not talking about when you're copying and pasting scripts, because it normally will take on the attribute of the executable bit. In other words, this part here, where it allows you to execute or run. This one did not do that. So I'm going to right click on the file. Again, we're dealing with test 3. Right click on the file, properties, permissions, is executable. I don't know why they wrote it this way, but run as a program is a better definition in my book. Run as a program is executable. Okay. Now it'll give me the option of execute or open. Okay, I want to run it, in other words. And it creates my junk folder here. Clear so far? All right, let me talk about this thing. What does that thing do? It's a shortcut to that right here. I'm going to make a shortcut to this. So you don't have to put shortcuts on your desktop. You can certainly just run them right here if you're good with that. However, what I'm going to do here is create a shortcut to that one. Right click on your screen, create new something. I'm going to use link to location, URL, Universal Resource Locator. Link to location. Give it a name. I'm going to use the same name as the script. Enter the link to location URL. All right, you have a folder symbol here. Open file dialog. You have a file or directory. Another name for that in Linux is folder. Directory, folder. I'm going to use file. I'm going to point to that script by finding it in my menu called test 3 and hit open. So my path is now home tom document script test 3. I'm going to hit OK. This creates a thing that looks just like a folder. I don't particularly care for that icon. Right click, properties. Click the icon symbol and go find an icon. Anything from the system. I'm going to use the alien. I could use something else if I want. And I want to run that. Now, since the script was written this way, it's going to do my junk to backup. And it already has the folder. If I run this now, it won't have anything to do. So I need to give it something to do. So I'm going to delete that folder on purpose. Now I'm going to double click on this. And it's going to create the my junk folder. Okay. So the beauty of doing something like that is you can also edit the script by opening it up in a text editor. And then I am going to highlight that line and copy it. You can also use Control-C. And then on the next line, I could use Control-V or paste. Okay, in other words, this line here, paste. So it's currently identical. However, what I can do here is change the name to like music, for instance, or pictures. It's got to be spelled the same way, though. At least one space, right? Save. Now the script's been altered. And more importantly, I'm not going to touch this. But since I altered the script to do my junk and pictures, let me make sure these folders are gone so it'll replicate them. So you will see that happening on the screen. I'm not doing anything with this launcher, or link to that file. They're kind of treated like launchers, but it's a link. And now you can see that it created those two folders because I altered the script, but I did not alter the URL link. And you can always look at that information by hitting properties and take a look at the actual URL. Be careful using these things if you altered the names. If you do, you might as well recreate your link because it won't match. And it's very simple to do. You don't have to use links at all. You can run these scripts directly from here. And again, I don't recommend clicking that. That way you have the option of editing or running it. So one more time, open this thing up and I'll make this larger for you. Don't forget the bin bash line. Pound explanation / bin bash. Rsync. Many options out there. I'm just using the archive option, which is very simple. Tilde, again, the worm, the little worm, the tilde / my junk is just the home folder. And whatever the name of the folder, in this case, it's pictures on this one. And then at least one space, / media tom, that's the backup. So if I wanted to add more lines, I could do it this way. Right click, copy, click in here, enter, Control-V this time. And then I'm going to change that to a different device. Let's try that again. USB1. And then hit save. And now I'm going to go ahead and reduce this down a little bit. And I will I'll try to put up 2 boxes here. Control N. So now I have at least 2 boxes for me to demo this. And we're going to back up to my junk. Let's get rid of that so it'll have something to do. And then also pictures. And then on USB 1 downstairs, I will only do pictures. So I'll delete that. And now let's run the script. Since they're very fast, you can alter these, you can copy these. Again, you can just copy that script and hit paste. Give it a new name. And then open the script and edit as many lines as you want, because you copied that test 3 to test 4, but it takes on the attribute already as being able to run as a program. That's the beauty of just copying scripts. You can make as many of these as you want. Don't recommend the home folder, if I didn't say this already, because you have hidden files and folders in here. Control H. All the hidden files and folders have subfolders also. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And in most cases, most of your home users do not need all this stuff. Documents, music, personal folders, pictures maybe videos even. But in either case, you don't need everything in here. Alt F4 to close. Alt F4 to close, and I will say thank you for watching, folks. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Take care.